This is a
That
scary
one's hard
pick.
to kill.
That's
Yeah.
hard to kill. Scary pick. There's nothing really against this Morphling, to be honest. Plus, this counts as the Razor. This is kind of making your Razors looking like a bad pick in this draft now because of the Morphling coming out.
5 seconds
I mean, obviously, the laning stage can still pan out in any direction, to be honest, depending how Chicken Fighters are going to set up their lanes. But when you're looking at a team fight aspect, you don't want to give Morphling any extra damage. If he keeps on changing himself to, one, either a Snapfire, stunning people around and getting extra kills, you can go into a Faceless Void, have extra mobility with your waveform, or you be a Razor. One, you suck out the enemy's damage. Two, you boost yourself, and plus you have a nasty passive, which is going to allow you to move at crazy speeds. It's looking scary if this Morphling gets out of hand, because if you let him have a good game, you can't catch this guy.
10 seconds to pick.
Yep. Like, and I think the thing you were sort of working towards here is that all 4 of these Chicken Fighters heroes need a bit of a longer fight. Most of his damage is over time. They don't have the burst to take out the Morphling before he starts using all of their abilities against them. So that's going to have to come from the last pick. Yeah, so the Death Prophet gets taken out here. The AoE Silence would be extremely powerful here, both versus the Morph itself.
10 seconds to pick.
Making sure that he can't get that Morph off, or versus like support troops like the Abaddon, who are intrinsic for keeping this Morph alive during the earlier stages of the game. And then the PL, of course. So they're very much aware that this Faceless Void could potentially still end up on the offlane.
I'm also kind of weighing options for Viking. They had to play against an offlane Alchemist yesterday. Does Kezu feel like trying it out? Does he want to play Abaddon? Or are we going to see some other hero? Because they're banning Willow, so they're targeting the +4 section. Suspecting that Aramis's hero is not there yet. But there's options for Kezu here. If he wants to try something new, something different here, game 1 would be the place to do it.
Yep, I completely agree.
At least in safe terms.
In safe terms, yeah. I would like to see it on the offlane, most likely, with still any kind of battering ram on mid. Basically, I do really want Boom to have a game in this lane. And Void Spirit, well, this could also still be Kezu. We don't know anything just yet, and they're gonna wait for Chicken Fighters to grab their hero here, and possibly also for the players to grab their heroes before they do it themselves. We might see a little bit of waiting around the player picking stage here. I love that little game at the end.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we've got the drafts here. Now who plays what? It's kind of leaves a little bit into the air, filling in the gaps. Though, 30 seconds time for Chicken Fighters with the last pick. Looking at the ban sector, obviously PL was banned before the Lion. If it were the other way around, that would have been a very, how to say it?
A bit of a shot in the dark.
A shot in dark, yes, in this order. But it makes a lot of sense that if it would have been the other way around. However, what do they want to fill in with their carry/mid sector? Or not. So let's mix things up a little bit. So we have Razor and Void for sure as cores. It's going to be a carry Void this time. And Kezu with the Alchemist offlane. So yeah, this is the OG Vol 2. This is exactly that. They've got the offlane Alchemist to mix up things a little bit, try something different. Maybe it works out. And an offlane ET. Holy smokes.
Offlane ET is very exciting to me. Because this guy packs a punch. But you need to walk that line very carefully between... Because you're great at pushing out waves, you're great at reactive play. What you need is your other cores to go in, which is not very natural for an offlaner normally. So they're going to need to really play around this Charlie Faceless Void. Supreme needs to overposition from time to time and get reactions so that the rest of his team can back him up. A lot of this is about trust. And then Shibe can come in with the ult, come in with like a big, the damage of 4 heroes on his big stapler. I'm kind of sad he doesn't have the hand. That would have been pretty amazing to see. And he'll come wading in to punch people, but afterwards, ET is not a hero that goes in. So let's see if Chicken Fighters can make that adjustment to how an offlaner normally plays.
Let's see if they can.
Over on the other side, yeah, we have this is very much a a Viking OG hybrid draft. I'm very curious to see how much they learned from OG yesterday.
Kips, on a school grade of 0 to 10, how cool are our offlane picks in this game number 1?
This is solid 8.
I'm thinking 8 as well. It's kind of cool having a little bit of difference here. Obviously, the Alchemist offlane is not out of the woods, and same thing with ET. But once you get them both in the same game, it's like, yeah, there's not that many games when you actually get both of them in the pause 3 role. So something different and something cool, and obviously looking forward to game 1 a lot.
Well, luckily we don't have to wait very long. Here we go.
Here we go, indeed. The first game of this best of 3 series in the lower bracket, elimination once again. Upon one of these two teams, VikinGG or ChFighters will continue or go out, but luckily it's game number 1. So we still have room for some drama, for some story. And of course me, T-Panda, and Kips here to deliver as much as we can. Charlie needs a reset for FPS fix. Okay, maybe there's... Charlie's been playing too much Dota in the early morning. He's got some memory leak going on.
Oh, very possible. Dota's still in beta after all. I mean, I wish we could get a different joke, but the game's still not fixed, so...
I actually had a discussion with a friend of mine who does some coding, and I kind of got a logical answer to why Dota is still in beta, why the folder says beta. Because if you change the folder name, it might screw up all the paths everywhere, so it's going to destroy more. So better to just leave it in beta to recognize that, yeah, it's an unfinished product here and there, but it's playable. It's playable. I mean, this is the 10th World Championship, for God's sake, but, you know, you gotta have something. You gotta have something to talk about.
I mean, I agree with it in part. It's just like, it would be a lot of extra busy work to just change the name of a folder. And let's face it, if you change the name of the folder because you can't deal with a couple of jokes, then something's wrong in your priorities as a game developer already. Just develop games. It does look like I immediately caster cursed this though. I was like, yeah, we don't have to wait very long, and then pause. Maybe I can just get it out of the way right now. And I won't curse anymore. I used it all up.
Well, as we wait for Charlie to return, guess we could take a quick glimpse at starting items. Nothing too special here, I believe. Lena with a Sage's Mask, bit of extra mana regen, able to trade a little bit more. Outside of the ordinary, nothing really. Pexu with the smoke, Zelda with the smoke. So maybe a little clash. I've got a feeling that we've got the classic dire rotation to over here. We might see a battle around this area. Man, my arm is shaky here in the morning. it's not as it's supposed to be a circle, but yeah, Kips will take over. Thank you. Kips has much better circles than I do. So if we look at this area where she just drew a circle, most likely over here on the choke point of the cliff might be a clashing point. Sadly, we can't draw while we're paused, but I'm suspecting the mid ward will be dropped around this area, and then we have the secondary somewhere around those two X's there. Just prediction play at this point. But I'm hoping for an actual 5v5. You don't really get 5v5 smoke fights early on in EU.
Not really. I mean, there's a possibility that Viking will take that position and ChFighters will take the fight, just because ChFighters have the way stronger level 1 fight here. If Shibe gets a nice spirit over on 5 of Viking's heroes, are all clumped up on that high ground, you can walk up. You can use the Razor Static Link in order to get some huge damage out as well. So it is a possibility that ChFighters would take that one. Saying, alright, you call in our bluff, we can do this. You're not strong level 1.
I wonder what Kazu's going to buy as starting items for Alchemist. Still empty inventory for now. Gonna be in a hurry.
Yeah, like, the thing that I said about, you know, Jibe over on that Elder Titan definitely also goes for Kazu. But I think Kazu has always been a little bit more of a strategical player. He's not very big on going in. I think historically he has been a little bit hesitant. And you can see that on heroes like Centaur and stuff, where Kazu doesn't always seem that comfortable So this is probably a little bit more up his alley, but at the same time, it does also mean that for the side of Vikings, well, a lot of pressure is on Boom to make this game happen. Now, Viking is very comfortable with this, because that's usually how they play. But an Alk still pulling it off without any practice. I just took a sneaky peek at what Kezu has been playing in pubs, and the Alk's not on there. They're doing this pretty much on the fly. Of course, okay, I don't know what they've scrimmed. Disclaimer, even if I knew, would not be telling you.
Exactly. Scrims are a world of secrets.
They're sacred.
We're not supposed to know about those. But true, good point. Are they just living it off the fly? Have they been observing and recapping on yesterday's series? Taking something about the OG series and how Seb plays, because they did have to play a pretty nasty game. I did watch it partially. The thing with Drow getting an Aghanims around the 15-minute marker and having 12,000 net worth.
It's actually an insane farming item.
So it's like you get gifted an Ags and you're like, okay. And Drow with Ags is going to benefit even more farming potentially. Plus, that's just like nuts.
So the Ags that we're going to be looking for here is most likely for the Void Spirit. And the problem here is that this is not a farming item. This is conditional. It's a huge power spike for Boom, but it only lasts so long. And he will have to go in order to use it. And that's pretty dangerous versus his very powerfully reactive lineup of chicken fighters. So I have seen this one where you use it for the Void Spirit fall flat on its face a couple of times already.
Yep. Celery is going to spot the gank train arriving by chicken fighters. So as we did our map drawing shenanigans, hoping that maybe we'll see some rotations towards the Radiant side of the jungle, it's actually a mirror move here from chicken fighters. Though their ward's been spotted, they don't know about Celery's ward, but they will know as soon as that ward gets dewarded. So they know that this is free money just looming in the air. Either they let it stay and they deward it later for money, or just get rid of it right away and deny their own ward at the same.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these wards here from chicken fighters, and they are so ready to contest any stacks that might appear in this jungle. And they have Elder Titan. They have no need to let this Alchemist get away with any sort of stack farming in there. But they're going to keep an eye on that, and you bet your bottom dollar they will go and contest if those stacks do appear. And if those stacks don't appear, then Kezu is taking space that could be used by other heroes. This is one of the problems with the Alchemist. It needs a lot of farm, nonetheless.
And so we have our laning stage rolling out. We have the Void Spirit versus the Razor in mid. We have Boom and Supreme competing for this. Doesn't really get much damage out on the first link. This is a bit difficult for the Void Spirit at the start, because even if you jump out of vision on your second spell, you're basically still getting damage until you break the distance. So you're technically still there, even though you're not. Which is a Razor benefit. Just like building a Yules on Razor. Even if the hero is untargetable, if you're in range, you're still sapping damage away and buffing yourself. So that's something to keep in mind, that especially when you have those 4 points. And I believe there was still a talent. Yeah, the level 15 talent, if you decide to pick up the damage steal instead of the strength, that +5 can end up hurting quite a lot, especially if it hits on a hero like Alchemist Lina or even the Morphling.
What I've seen in the past is actually Void Spirit mostly skipping out on the Dissimulate. I see that Boom does take it here, but often the other strategy that you see is them actually just taking the Aether Remnant, and as soon as they get linked up, hitting a Remnant on the Void before walking away so that they don't get chased out and they can break it more easily. As well as making sure that they last it with the Resonant Pulse while their damage is sapped.
Razor is definitely a difficult hero to try and outrun.
Consider an alternative.
So far though, Boom doing excellent on the CS.
He is doing great. He's doing absolutely great. Important to get that early CS. Don't fall behind in XP. Experience is really what really matters there for the Void Spirit. At least to hit that early levels. Especially getting to 6. And once again, are we going to see rotations kick on early or not? Charlie taking a bit of a beating here from Aramis and Kezu though.
Yeah, so the Lina is very much necessary in this bottom lane to keep the pressure up. You're going to see this lane push very hard. Kezu and Aramis are going to put Charlie under the tower most of the time. They have no way to push the wave back. And then here, exactly what Kezu is doing.
My gratitude.
This camp has already been blocked. Actually, no, that one doesn't block. Does it? It's a block. But they didn't get it off before the marker, it seems. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
But it's very necessary in order for Charlie and Pexu to keep on playing their lane here.
Yep,
Otherwise, all you're going to see is the push-pull of the lane completely controlled by Aramis and Kezu.
Shad already pumping up one level of adaptive strike. Skipping waveform for now. Guess it looks like he wants to keep on, well, not necessarily spamming, but at least secure range creeps with it. Plus a bit of harass onto Shibe. This is a kind of a brawl-heavy lane in a sense. If the Morphling starts playing passive, that's your downfall.
Yep, exactly. He's the one with the punching power in this lane. The Abaddon is not really going to do anything for him except enable him, so he's the one that has to play up. And as you can see here, if Era is allowed to keep this positioning, then there's no good way for Shad to get close to the wave.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Boom with 0 right-click damage right now, but in bottom, they do get the stun on Pexu. Got 100 HP, does have 2 Fairy Fires. Doesn't have to use it, uses stick charges to survive the Dragon Slave. Lives for now, no first blood yet. But as we're closing up on more action runes into mid, well, we still have our water runes spawning in a few seconds. Outside of that, I don't think we're going to see too much rotating towards mid. Maybe the mids are going to rotate elsewhere. That was a huge dynamic that changed, was the 4-minute action rune turning into the water runes. Because it meant that side laners have to kind of babysit a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, more like side lane supports can babysit for longer now, because the 4-minute rune doesn't make or break the mid lane anymore. Which was a bit of unfair RNG, honestly, in my opinion. It was kind of unnecessary, so I'm very happy to see that changed. I did not like that bit one bit.
No bits for Kips. While looking at the top lane, bit of pressure here, Chibe. Every time he throws in that spirit, it's gonna buff him up by almost at least 50 to 100 damage every time. They're going for a tiny bit of a dive here. Just most importantly, focusing on denying creeps. Not really able to deny any of them here. Good job by Shad and Celery securing all those last hits. Abaddon hits level 3. And both mid laners are closing up on that level 6. So need to keep an eye open on the minimap if there's going to be any movements happening on either side.
Both of them would like to make a reactive kind of rotation here. Neither of them particularly good at creating the situation in the first place.
Nice pull block by Pexu. Might die though.
Yeah. He might die for it, yeah. I think he as well as I are both very surprised that that sentry doesn't actually block. You heard me doubt about that, and like he's been checking at camp. It's like, dang, the creeps keep spawning.
That's first blood. Yep, that sentry's not blocking it. But most importantly, Kezu, he's got more movement speed than the Phoenix does. Pexu, I like the play that he does. He dives to prevent the pull from happening so Charlie can keep farming. But what he doesn't realize is he's got no way of coming out. As soon as Lina appears, no chance for a TP out. You're just going to get cancelled by LSA. So Kezu runs him down, gets him a kill. Meanwhile, Charlie gets himself a free creep wave, but first blood is always first blood. It's a lot of dosh.
It is. And on top lane, Era's going very low. He's going to survive this most likely. Yeah, there we go. But he has already scouted out the fact that stacks are beginning to appear in this jungle. Celery is starting to work. He's a bit dewarding as well, making sure that this Alk has something to rotate into. And, well, Kezu is already building towards his first Aghanim's. He's got his soaring, that's literally all he needs.
That's all he needs, yep. And also Void just got pushed all the way back to Fountain. He's still running home, while Razor is farming in mid. Getting a tiny bit of an advantage for now, but yes, as you mentioned, that Ags. It is important that they do contest Kezu as much as possible, because all of these extra minutes are important, especially an early silence on the Void Spirit through the Aghanims can be deadly.
It's especially deadly for the supports. I think ChFighters are very happy that they have two pretty tanky strength supports, so it's still going to be decently hard for Boom to burst them down.
And this is
well,
great.
We're not getting to that just yet.
Yeah, great from ChFighters is what they're doing right now is pressuring mid, already down to 700 HP on this mid tier 1 tower. Big moves already happening. Celery forced to rotate to help, but at the same time, Shad is already feeling strong enough to solo lane against this ET. Both are now tied up in CS, around 30, 35 on both. And only one kill so far on board, as we're still sitting at the laning phase here. 7 minutes in. Lower bracket game with ChFighters and Viking.
Taking damage.
All of
Obviously,
these scores.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I didn't expect to see this pair this early in the lower bracket, but a tournament's a tournament. Celery's gonna fall.
My steed.
And that is most likely the fall of the middle tower as well. They can't really spare any resources right now. Aramis would really like to get an early level 6 on his bottom wave. Kezu, of course, is farming the stacks in the jungle right now. Shad helping him out. This is a bit awkward.
4 people coming towards mid. Hunting down Boom as they pressure this tower. Forcing some kind of reaction from Viking. But Viking, they ain't taking it. They're not taking it. Maybe Celery shows up in, but that's still not enough for any aggressive play. Just fills in the bottle for Boom. And this tower shall fall. That is the first tower kill of the game.
With very little resistance, but that's what Viking has to do in order to get these stacks out right now.
Ooh, Supreme pops his ulti. Celery's an easy pickings here. Hoping to get something more, but there's not really anybody around. Aghanim's still in the works while Boom is diving era. Needs to use one more jump to get the kill, but does he have any way to get out? Chronosphere from Charlie. We've got Supreme around as well. Dissimulate is available with the Remnant down. Jumps on the high ground, but Charlie gets the bash.
Couldn't have happened in the void.
A little bit opportunistic there, but yeah, he feels the need to do something because now all of these stacks in their own jungle are going to be contested. I doubt they're going to get much space anymore from ChFighters. They have a ward down. They've got that middle tower as well, so they have a good new entrance into the jungle through here. And you can see, by the way, that Pexu is playing here, that they're really not about to let this place go anymore.
Yeah, I can imagine. Already mentioned it yesterday at the end of the series. Pexu's probably shot calling every single second of the game. That man is super devoted, super committed. Gets Kezu's courier as well on the way. But he's probably just yelling orders while he's trying to think of his own moves at the same time.
You can look at the minimap if you want to see those things, like who makes the calls. You look at who's drawing, who's pinging. Orange is Pexu. You're going to see a lot of orange on the map.
Yeah, there's a lot of orange going to be on the map for sure. Another tower about to be taken by ChFighters, really forcing Viking to play defensive for now. They are not ready to take any kind of blunder yet. Maybe Shad can push some towers. He's going for Sanj and Yasha. I like this item choice instead of going for the casual shotgun build or any other type of like rushing butterfly or something, just because you know that you're tanky or strong enough to deal out damage. But Sanj and Yasha really looking at stretching into that tough right clicker towards the late game.
It's a bit more stats as well. In general, you're going to need that on the Morphling these days because, of course, you need mana to shift right now, which is one of the reasons that the E-Blade build has fallen off in popularity. You still see it sometimes, especially when the Morphling needs a really harsh power spike, but Viking already have their harsh power spike secured. It's what they're working towards. It's that Axe over on towards Boom. And it is very close to being finished, actually.
Hand of Midas coming for Elder Titan. Why not? Stretching for the late game security at least, so why not?
Yep, they know they have a little bit of time. This Viking lineup is going to take some minutes to get online as well, so they have that. And again, just like I said yesterday, this Hand of Midas makes sure that you get the most out of not actually taking creeps. You're just going to get a steady influx of gold and especially of levels, which is huge for Elder Titan, without taking a lot of things away from the rest of your team. So if you have the space to get it, which is very clearly given by Viking's lineup here, then yeah, it's one of the most cost-effective ways in order to be relevant throughout the game.
Void only has a Maelstrom picked up so far. Not really relishing on masses of farm so far, but that's fine. We're still very early into the game. He's trying to build himself up big. I think Supreme wants to be playing more aggressive. ET could join in with the Hand of Midas. Snapfire and Phoenix. It's kind of like a 4 Protect 1 for now, but I guess they don't have to.
Chrono.
They have Chrono, but they can do some risk assessment on should we just go on a straight up team fight, force the cooldowns. But while they have those cooldowns up, like while their spells are available, it's a mental threat for Viking to know that he can't make any massive plays because anything can happen. If they use those spells, they know that, okay, we have a little bit of free roam now. That's one TP cancel less and also a team fight threat less. Peksu snipes another Kezu Courier. That's maybe the third time this game already.
He was very
Man's
close.
on a
If he
mission.
would have gotten that one on the way in, he would have actually gotten the Aghanim Scepter. But instead, Kezu delivered his first to Boom, who will immediately show it off in the mid lane. Now the question is, what's he going to do with this? I always said this one is conditional. This is the power spike. He's going to have to make something happen with it. This is a very scary game. That Chrono sits unused at the ready as a reaction. We haven't seen Mortimer's Kisses yet. We haven't seen an egg yet. You bet it's all going to get dropped as soon as Boom makes a move. But they're going to go for it. Smoke up towards the top lane. This Elder Titan is very alone.
Yep, ET is a prime target. He's an offlaner for some decent money. 1300 HP, not an impossibility to burst through. Boom. He's got an idea,
Yeah,
but because Celery Smoke hasn't popped, they find him. They found the ET. Silence number 1, silence number 2. And oh, Celery. You just had to get that miscall in the way, didn't you? Now they secure the kill. Yeah, they secure the kill, they get it. And don't be baffled by the net worth. Of course, Void Spirit is leading. He was just gifted an Ags. Nothing to see here. Move on. But Viking get themselves at least 1 kill on the board. And despite being 3k ahead in net worth, this is the Alchemist ad. So technically, I think they're a little bit behind ChFighters.
I would say so, yes. Their Morphling is only barely ahead of Charlie over on the Faceless Void. And Supreme, of course, is looking very strong right now as well. He's going to finish up a Sanjin Yasha pretty soon, and that's where he becomes extremely hard to take down, even with the extra silences coming out from Boom. It's just not going to last very long.
Smoke from
Here's the
ChFighters, looking for the chrono play. Era's ready with the Mortimers, keeping the distance. Supreme coming in front. Kezu.
They have a
spot
medallion on the
him,
Snapfire.
but
They want to rush after.
but they also have an idea here. They've got Celery on their sides. They get the slow out on the Nova. Suck up some damage. Pop the ulti. Can't dive under the tower, though. Gonna let this one slide. 15 minutes played. 3-3 on the scoreboard. Viking playing a little bit from behind. They need time.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
They start getting some pressure throughout this bottom lane. Lina building towards an Aether Lens. Going to be able to throw out stuns from a much longer distance. Securing Lina's positioning in fights, which is going to be key. Getting the LSA stun on the Chronosphere Void is big. Meanwhile, they are chasing Celery again. He's got no ulti. He needs to be careful with that.
ChFighters almost focusing on this top jungle to their detriment. Like, they're giving a lot of space over on the bottom side of the map. Now they've had Charlie on top. He's a hard catch.
He is. And now ChFighters are coming in. They've got the stun on Boom. They could use the Chrono. Holding on to it. There we go. Pops it down. They have to damage the Mortimer's Kisses. Everything. Dropped on the Void Spirit to get a kill. They can't catch Celery, though. Mortimer's Kisses. Mortar range runs out. Abaddon still keeping the disengage. But at least ChFighters, they find a big kill.
And this is kind of the fear factor that I was talking about. You can see Boom sitting around there. He's top with the net worth right now. You think that he could just grab his game and start moving it, start killing people. But he's always going to run into this Chronosphere. And it means that once he gets back here after getting, well, finished off just now, he's going to have to make something happen during the time when the Chronosphere is down. Otherwise, Viking give up all of the chances at momentum that they have in this game. They can't create these chances on their own. Which other playmakers do you see around here? The Lina does not have a Yule Scepter. She went for Boots of Travel on the support. And the Morphling is not quite ready yet. He's got a Sanjin Yasha. He could start playing up right now, but it's going to be risky. And yeah, that's what Viking are going to do. They're not content with sitting back any longer.
Yep, I agree with you. I like the idea of playing a little bit more defensive on the Lina build. Well, that Razor Bait, Illusion Bait works out perfectly. Boom has just revealed himself. Suspecting there might be more. They might just go Roche here. very optimistic. That Razor Illusion is actually going to run out, but it will be close enough for Shad to turn into him. Grab 16 extra damage. They need to contest this one. Chronosphere down for 60 seconds. Tough one for ChFighters to contest. They can throw the Spirit. They can drop down the ET ulti, which is actually on cooldown as well for 15 seconds. And boom, is going in. He's going to find the Phoenix. Peksu makes his way out with a couple hundred HP. Roshan down to 1400 HP. Might be able to take this one away from ChFighters. Here comes Supreme, charging in the middle of the battle. Going for the Roshan, trying to get it for himself, and they will take the kill. But Shad will snatch the Aegis for himself. It's still a 5v5 with the egg about to pop. Kezu tries to get a disengage out of there, but they got the Remnant coming out as well. They get a nice stun out there from the LSA. Celery has his ulti popped as well as the ET throws his ulti in and keeps the Abaddon from escaping. Viking will lose 2. They get to keep the Aegis for themselves. It's on Shad. They want to get it off him. They really need to catch him. Can they? They don't see him. They don't know where he is. He's out.
Getting away with murder there, honestly. Going into the pit versus an ET Phoenix, even if the Earth Splitter is down, that is very, very dangerous. Snap fight it. Viking, honestly, they're positioning there, making sure that they push the Razor out of the pit, and then keeping most of the supports outside so they couldn't get stunned all at the same time. It was very necessary. He's dead.
14 HP. Boom's gonna have to sacrifice himself to go back in. And no! Disaster strikes. Charlie gets an opening for the Chronosphere. This is kind of like a neutral item dropping down, but he had to get it so the enemy doesn't get it. But the Void is gonna be in trouble. Just get the jump out just in time. Supreme still chasing on Boom will get the kill. Charlie on the run. Now the Celery ulti pops as well. Tries to heal himself up a little bit. Peksu coming in with the dive. There is Shad though. Right-clicking on the Razor. Trying to get some waveform damage. Celery will fall. Shad doesn't have the required damage to fight this Razor just quite yet. Kips, the moment a neutral item drops, you have to go pick it up. The enemy comes in and kills you. That was just the same type of moment. You have 10 HP after the Remnant. You just have to get that kill with the Dissimulate, and you end up being in the Chrono. Whew. That hurts.
It hurts. At least they didn't lose too much there, but the fact that you can see that they can't deal with this Razor anymore, he's just got SNY right now, but the BKB is going to come in fast, and after that, they need to have actual DPS coming out from Shad. And I don't think he's quite ready to stand in these fights yet. There is so much damage. He always has to be wary of the Elder Titan, taking away all of his armor. Which is going to render him, well, I don't want to say paper, but pretty fragile. Once again, Viking waiting for a timing here. They're going to have to use that BKB onto Shad in order to get him to fight and have him bring the physical DPS that they're not going to get out of any of their other cores.
Yeah, if ever they want to try and kill this Razor, Morphling's going to need at least maybe triple the damage that he has right now. And that's basically looking at like a 15-minute Morphling with 6 slots and building into his own Aghanims and Moon Shards. So that's quite far away. But obviously, Razor's not the prime target to look at. They did have to deal a lot with Thompson's Razor yesterday. But that was obviously a different type of playstyle Razor. That was the super aggressive 1v4 Razor who draws attention and opening spots for OG. For ChFighters, Supreme plays, well, he plays with the team, not like he goes in first and draws the attention, which could work in some point of the game because you have Chrono, you have ET, you have the Snapfire backing you up, so you could definitely just rush in alone. But Viking knows how to play against that. When they see a Razor coming kind of like with the team, it's a different adjustment.
It's a different story, yes. Now, the thing that I want to point out here is that Boom has nearly gotten caught up to by Supreme. And he got a free Aghanim Scepter. He is not actually having as good of a game as the Golden Graph suggests here. The team is suffering because, yeah, Kezu, he doesn't have anyone to give new Aghanim Scepters to either, so he's been building a pipe and now he's got a Blink Dagger. He's trying to start going back into that off-lane role.
Would it be funny if I say he's starting to provide for his team? Supreme, though, very alone. They know exactly what to do with a loner like that. Faces Void on the disengage. No opportunity for a turnaround with the Chrono. They just lost the Razor. They need him for the team fight. But a great play by Viking. If they see a Razor alone like that, they know exactly how to deal with it. They have very fresh memory of it.
They do indeed. Now, the X factor in these fights for me is Aramis Lina. She is actually extremely farmed for a +4. And I have no doubt that he could go into right-click damage as well if he wanted to.
KheZu trying to keep himself hidden. Looking for the blink stun opportunity. Doesn't need to use it here, but I like watching the way that he's placing himself. He's just close enough that the enemy catches a glimpse during daytime that, oh, Alk is coming. Okay, stunned. He needs to be very far away, but he also needs to be in the spot to kind of prevent a side rotation, like a flank coming in, or a potential smoke play. So KheZu, you can find him in the most interesting places sometimes. Like, why is he here? He's got something on his mind. He's definitely in the places for a reason. It's not like he just ends up being there like, oh, you just planted a wild KheZu here. What do you do?
Intellectual player, that guy.
Celery in the enemy jungle. He's got more wards on him.
He is the ward.
He's literally the ward right now, yeah.
And he's also a smoke breaker. Oh, are they gonna run into him?
Well, he's gonna be a smoke breaker if he runs into these.
Vanished.
They're gonna skip him.
Gone.
They're gonna skip him. I like this. They're looking for somebody else in the back. Viking, maybe feeling a bit too comfortable. Shad is there. How do they kill this guy? They need the Void. They need the Chronosphere for it, but he's already moving out. So like, okay, let's just turn our attention back to this easy kill that we can get.
Consolation prize, well.
Consolation prize indeed. Good night, Celery. Yeah, if they had the Void closer, they would have definitely gone for Shad.
He was not smoked in that regard. Celery still saved Shad's life there.
Radiant's top tower is
they could not bring the Void up there without him being spotted.
Well, even with that one gifted Aghanims in the team, Viking, they're still having that same gold lead. It's pretty even. KheZu, though, you've got nowhere to run. You can stun this Razor. He's got no damage left. Not that he's going to right-click anyway. Blinks out to safety. Maybe I assessed a little bit. I thought he might die because ChFighters were coming in force, but none of them could actually catch up with the Razor.
That's one of the problems that they have in this lineup that I said in the draft already. This is this is very reactive. Ideally, ChFighters get engaged into, and the problem has not gone away. Problem, flavor.
Flavor, yeah. You could put it out that way.
Because we've seen that it's kept boom down for most of the game. This Void Spirit has killed, what, 2 targets? Both of them were Era, and he died for them both times.
Hey, if Liquid Enigma can win games with just 2 stuns in their draft, that'd be my guess.
It's not comfortable. And you can see that by how much these two teams are maneuvering as well. Neither of them can really make plays, so you're looking for an overextension. You're looking to get the information that you have the space to make a play without getting punished. And that's why this game is so slow.
I just love seeing a random Celery in the enemy jungle time after time after time again.
What are you going to do about him?
It's just... A normal Abaddon player, a pause 5 player, would either 1 babysit, 2 be somewhere safe. This guy's not. KheZu gets the Son of the Razor, keeps Supreme away.
Supreme's not in any danger. No, this is very much Chinese Abaddon style, except that Celery has a luxury here. That again, they have 2
and back
stuns.
he goes.
Are they gonna spend 1 of their stuns on this Abaddon? I don't think so. That's half of their stuns, dude.
That is half of their stuns. Maelstrom, SNY, soon a Scotty for this Faces Void. I feel like, did he just finish off a BKB? It looks like he does, so BKB Void can't be stunned anymore with that Chrono. Thing is, do you want to use both Chrono and BKB? Because BKB's importance after Chrono or pre-Chrono is pretty huge to be able to get that jump off in time. So do you use Chrono on a distant target and save BKB for the latter fight? However, they're running in for an ill surprise because Viking is coming in. KheZu looking for the stun. He's going to stun himself. Oh, no. Chicken, they're not taking it. Do they even? They didn't even see him there for a moment. Now they realize that
now.
Kezu's actually there. They didn't see him. Now he's gonna get caught with a cookie. He's got a stun loaded up. He's not gonna. He's actually gonna get it out on Razor. But a beautiful stomp of the backline. They're gonna catch Aramis with it and quickly delete it from the battlefield. ChFighters. DD popped on this Razor. On the run. On the hunt. They're gonna pop Celery's ulti. Viking can't fight this. They're gonna have to give away 3 and a tower with no backdoor protection. They're going for Roche, I think.
They should be, yes. And neither of their BKBs got used there. This is a huge win for ChFighters. But Viking, they have to wait. Boom needs a BKB of his own before he can actually go into these fights. You see, he was positioned on the flank all the time, looking for an opportunity, but one just didn't present himself. Costing rush.
Roche falling now. 28 minutes. Secured for ChFighters. Charlie shall grab it. They have the upper hand in this game right now.
This BKB has to be a turning point.
Yep. They haven't even used it. No need to use it yet.
Oh, sorry. I was talking about the BKB over on Boom, because once again,
Boom,
Viking is stuck in this corner where they're waiting for this timing. But then after they actually hit it, getting results out of it is conditional and will still require Boom to go into a Chronosphere, into an Earth Splitter, and coming out alive.
ChFighters coming to defend this tower. Shad Aramis quickly disengage from this area. Charlie, though, on the chase. This is a difficult guy to catch. Shad is baiting him here. Chrono used. Try and kill this guy. Actually doing quite a decent amount of damage with that ET ulti, but Shad, he's got time walk. He's popped the BKB off of Charlie. If they can get out of here, this is huge. If Celery can give us life, and that's still fine. That's 1 second of your BKB gone. Chrono BKB for an Abaddon kill.
That is how you buy space. That's, yeah, there's a price tag. It's an add-on, but
yeah, and it's a tier 1 tower, but it's not the worst. Not the worst. Still, this is great. This is great for Viking though.
Yeah, in a sense, I mean, we did see once again how fragile Shad actually is, and that he can't really go toe-to-toe with the Space's Void yet. So they are still waiting.
But I think the fragility that kind of showed up in there was the ET ulti, because it's still percent-based damage. So the higher the Morph goes out, like Morphling was at 4k HP, he would just lose like 1500 HP to 1 spell. And Supreme, this might be a big one for Viking. Maybe they can get something done here. Shad is soaking up the damage. The stun flies on Peksu. Very split. They're splitting on 2 different targets. Peksu gets the egg off. Shad in trouble. Shad's gonna fall. ChFighters will find themselves 1. And now Viking are in trouble. They have to disengage from this one. They get the stun onto the ET. Shive will get hit by that Kezu. Gets the blink out to safety. There's a remnant in between. Celery, he's trying to look for an opportunity to cast a shield onto the Alchemist, but Alk ain't going anywhere. He's staying. He's falling. He's dead. Charlie finds that first hit bash onto Celery as well. Celery, no way to get back to the high ground. 3 heroes down from Viking. They couldn't kill either of those heroes. End up losing 3.
They don't have the toolset to go in. Listen, Boom just got his BKB. They were waiting for this. They were supposed to do something with this, and there was just no opportunity for him to get in without getting punished immediately by any of the AoE abilities over ChFighters.
Huge difficulties now as they're going to march straight towards the high ground. They've got the creeps coming in. Backdoor protection is off. All because of this one bloody catapult. It's the only creep in the base. So they will lose this tier 3 tower. See if they lose more. If that Alchemist stun connected on the Razor, they might have been able to kill the Razor. But they were spreading their damage on 2 separate targets, making it a whole different fight. Charlie, though, Aegis is in trouble. Laguna Blade, the Silence comes out, and the Mist Coil will secure the Aegis kill. And they get more. At least they keep the range racks up, but it's a slight comfort. The melee racks is the more important one out of these 2. ChFighters are out.
The biggest problem in the game for this Morphling is Elder Titan. As soon as the ET is allowed to be on top of the Morphling with its natural order, it means that the Morphling gets shredded immediately. Losing all of his armor is huge. And they don't have anyone to build an AC here either. They're just going into BKBs to protect themselves right now. So there's nothing but base armor for the Morph. And the ET is tanky. This man's farm. He's got a hood, he's got a BKB. Echo Saber, he can survive in the middle of that fight. They can totally afford to cookie him in every single time.
It's also Satanic now. Up on the Razor. They will smoke up, and Celery pops the smoke again. He has done it several times so far. Bash, bash, bash. Okay, the stump comes out. Like hitting your head on a brick wall. But eventually the brick wall will give up. Don't try this at home, though.
I mean, I think if you keep hitting your head in a brick wall, there's probably not much in there to damage anyway.
Yeah. However, in the case of Viking, they're now very far behind. Only 5 kills in the last 33 minutes in this game 1. ChFighters, however, I think they've managed. They've managed really well. They pressurized Viking when they were supposed to. The early game made the big difference here. The first minutes of pressure, and Shad gonna get chronoed up. He's only got 2.9k HP, and the ET ulti just slaps him in the face. Shibe gets the kill. Earth Splitter, that's about 900 damage that it just dealt there in one go.
Decent. This problem's not gonna go away.
No.
This is a problem with that Viking lineup. They were always going to give this Elder Titan time. I absolutely love this pickup for ChFighters. It's really made their game
It
so
will definitely
easy
persist. Persist and never desist. Supreme on the high ground. Got his ulti popped. We'll finish off the range racks.
Viking feels fragmented to me. Like, several players are trying to get solutions for the problems that they have, but it all seems to be very individual. Boom has this BKB, but he hasn't really used it in the team fights yet. He hasn't found an opportunity. Aramis has been playing his own game the entirety of this game so far. He's been split pushing. He's even getting some damaging on the mid tower right now. He's got BOT's Octary. It's just all spell spamming, but he hasn't actually, like, he can't do that in the fights because he just dies immediately.
Yeah, but that's the same build that he played yesterday. Boom, gonna get stunned combined there by Era, but no big trouble yet. However, melee racks down, another lane of racks about to fall. What can a Viking do? ChFighters mocking them in their own base. Shad goes in. BKB popped by Shibe. Boom. Gets a little bit of spells used. And now Shad goes in. He just goes. He just goes in and he just explodes. Oh my god. Boom, though. Does he have any chance by himself? He's got his BKB up, but no. At least the Similar saves him for a second, but not long enough. GG's called. Very disconnected Viking here in game number 1. ChFighters. Who would have guessed? They take game 1.
Excellently played by them too. They put Viking in this position where, you know, Viking wants to play aggressive, right? They know they weren't aggressive enough yesterday, and ChFighters just say, fine, come at us. And you see Viking being locked in the struggle between, we have an alchemist, so, you know, we can make use of the space that we're getting, but at the same time, the heroes that we're enabling with this alchemist still want to go in, which is basically impossible into this Chronosphere, into the Link, into all the team fight ults. And then they had the ET to secure the late game because there was just, you know, you saw that, we both saw that Morph evaporate. We all saw that happen. I don't think I've seen a Morph die that fast in like a year.
Yeah, that was the fastest Morph kill I've seen outside of pubs. That was super fast. But, you know, statistic-wise, looking at the end game score, Charlie, the MVP support player, 1-0-15. No, just kidding. He all he needed to do was really just play out his game, secure the late game if that ever was an issue. Plus, most importantly, get the chrono out. ET, Snapfire, Phoenix, all of these heroes benefit from it. Most of the time, they were the ones grabbing the kills. Of course, Razor Absolutely great performance from Supreme here, playing it out. But it was a team effort. I really can't highlight any individual because this was a ChFighters team effort of playing early game aggressively, taking away the map control, contesting stacks, Peksu in the enemy jungle at level 5. All those moves really added into the big picture. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, definitely agreed on that. And Viking, I just want to see a Viking game out of them next. I want to see them maybe even just first phase the Shadow Fiend. Just do it. Play one of those games and see if you can make that Viking magic happen. Because the other stuff, it's just not working for them right now.
Well, we're going to take a tiny breather here. Maybe Viking can get their package together. Otherwise, ChFighters are going to knock them out of the tournament, and probably nobody expected that to happen. However, Game 2, we'll have to find out what happens there.